Hello and welcome to the Visual Media Conference Pimento Sessions. I'm Teresa Kruger, Brand and Marketing Manager for Pimento, and today I'm joined by Jae Hopkins to discuss the world of travel in connection with sustainability and how the future booking model may change. Just before Jae does her presentation, I thought I'd tell you a little bit about her. So Jae is the CMO of disruptive startup Ultimate Travel Club, the members club for commission-free travel. She was previously Sales and Marketing Director at Eurotunnel, and before that, increased sales and brand awareness at adventure travel specialist Exodus Travels. So Jae, can you tell us more about what we're looking at today?
Yeah, thank you very much for that, Teresa. I'm going to have a look at some trends really in travel that we're seeing and predicting, and then how that's going to impact bookings, and then a little bit about booking models as well, because obviously at Ultimate Travel Club, that's what we're excited about right now. But the real focus is on trends and how travel's changing. And one of the things that I'm going to start with is slow travel. It's been a trend really for more than the last 5 years, and it's on the increase now. That kind of competitive sport element of ticking off countries and terminology like we did five Greek islands in a week was already on the wane. And I think our collective experiences over the last few years mean it's just no longer aspirational. People want to take time to understand a new culture, to appreciate new scenery, to take time for themselves and take time with their loved ones. That can apply to transport as well as the holiday itself. I saw a nice post the other day on social media where someone was saying that they'd decided, because of sustainability, to get a train across America to visit their family instead of a plane. And although it had originally sort of felt like a bit of a chore, she'd really connected with her daughter on that kind of slow journey across and really appreciated it. And I think people are that's a trend that we're going to continue to see, both in terms of the slow holiday, not rushing around whilst on holiday, but also the type of transport people take. That sort of appreciation of your circumstances, your surroundings, ties into the next trend, which is the great outdoors. I think, particularly in lockdown, that hour a day made us really appreciate space and nature and just, you know, when you've only got an hour to be out, really being able to enjoy the nature around us. And we all started to I live near the sea, and I started really to appreciate that I was right next to the sea and could just zap there when I had friends who were in flats without any green space nearby. And then even after that, you know, when shopping wasn't quite a choice, or maybe not a choice we didn't want to make, but a river path was, many people realised what they'd been missing. And working and school from home allowed us to do things in the middle of the day, even in the winter, maybe to go for a walk in the daytime, whereas in previous winters we might have all been stuck in the office in daylight hours and not had that option. I just think that opportunity has fed into a holiday trend that of walking, cycling, or searching for balconies that look over lakes or remote coastlines rather than resorts, or even just finding a cottage with a fireplace and a view. So the great outdoors is my second trend. The third one is really around social holidays. I think we care who's in that cottage or on that balcony with us more than ever before. There's an increase in people holidaying or planning to holiday with relatives, with loved ones, or even maybe just friends they see occasionally, being restricted and unable to visit grandparents, cousins, family friends, or mates we made at university, means that the idea of sharing a breakaway with them to reconnect has become a big priority for people, and it's definitely a trend that the industry is seeing, that more people on a booking going forward. The fourth one's a really obvious one in lots of ways. It's bucket listing. It's that I think the pandemic the proximity of illness and death in some cases has made us adopt a sort of carpe diem attitude. If not now, then when? And those one-day dreams are being planned now. I've recently done some research, and in the research that came back, over 50% of the people said that they have a specific trip that they're excited about, that they are planning to book as soon as restrictions enable them to. And I think that that's something that we'll see across the board. People who thought one day I will go and whatever, whether that's climb Kilimanjaro or eat gelato in Rome, learn to scuba dive on a holiday in Egypt, or even just to try a week of, I've always planned to try a week of digital detoxing, or going on a canal boat, you know, big things and small things. I think things that people had planned and imagined they would be able to do in the future, they will now just grab the moment and go for. My fifth trend is something that we have all heard far too much about in some ways. It's about working from home or not from home, so hybrid holidays and sandwich breaks. And we can all see why the change in the way we work, I'm sitting in my conservatory at home, means that WFH, working from home or working from holiday, works either way. And at Ultimate Travel Club, we've recently run a survey. The results aren't published just yet, but it's really clear from a first glance at that data, that omnibus data, that Brits will be considering what we're calling sandwich breaks. So that's where, for instance, they fly out on a Wednesday evening and work Thursday and Friday from a holiday destination, ready to start their week's holiday at 5 p.m. on a Friday, and really make the most of the time that they've got available on that holiday. And of course, at the other end of their week, they could do the same. Lots of people are being asked to be in their offices, for working from their offices maybe a day or two or three a week, and you can still do that and move the timings of when you're on holiday, or at least when you travel. And I think that that's definitely a trend that we're going to see more of. It's advantageous in lots of ways, because it allows the traveller, the customer, the person going on holiday, to get really great value out of their holiday, their annual leave, the very best value they possibly could. And it's also, so it's good for their wallet, but also for maximising their time. But it also could bring a bit of balance to travel times. It's a much better use of resources to have one full train or plane 5 times a week than to have 4 half-empty ones and then need 3 that can all fly or travel at once on a weekend full. So I think there's an awful lot of benefits for wallets, mental health, and the environment too, if we can just sort of move around, flex the days that we're traveling, and working from holiday. WFH certainly makes that easier. I know that Ocado have said that their office-based team can work from abroad up to 1 month a year, and many other employers are putting similar policies in place. Of course, if you're working from home, working from holiday, you need great Wi-Fi and portable equipment. And that brings me to another trend, which is the 6th travel trend I want to talk about, and that's holiday tech. Tech has quite literally been a lifesaver in many situations over the last 18 months, whether it's keeping us entertained or tracking what's going on. And we can see that it will be used for things like COVID passports, potentially, certainly for contactless check-in. in accommodation and in transport. That's rising really rapidly. But there are some other interesting travel tech uses. I'm just going to share a presentation now to show you a couple of things that I think are interesting. So there we go. So travel tech can definitely change decisions. In 2019, ABTA asked people whether they were keen to visit a country they'd never been to before, and 45% of people said yes, they were keen to visit a country they'd never been to before. In 2020, that dropped to 32%, and I think that's just that we're all wanting to feel safe and want, you know, in a world where everything's so unfamiliar, wanting to feel like things are more familiar. But then after I found that stat, I found this one, which shows that Booking.com research shows that 36% of their customers would feel more comfortable visiting a destination they'd never been to before if they could take a sneak peek on virtual reality first. And I think there's a real, I've got a friend who's working for a virtual tour company, which is all about the tech, and you know, wonderfully experienced guides wandering around with their gimbals and talking to people as they do. And I think there's a real advantage for travel tech in allowing people to experience a little taste of what they would if they were to travel somewhere. And maybe that's another way in terms of sustainability, that we can visit different places and have a taste of those places before we decide whether they're the right place for us to go or not. Which brings us, of course, to eco-conscious travel, which is a trend that goes really across everything. And again, another ABTA stat, in 2011, people were asked whether they were more likely to choose one travel company over another based on eco-credentials. 19% said yes, and in 2020 that had doubled to 38%. I suspect it's going up again. We're all gradually becoming more and more aware of our impact on the world and of the impact that travel has. Of course, it has some good impact as well as some negative impacts. So as well as being good for cultural understanding and for broadening horizons, there are also lots of local people who can benefit. And again, another stat that asked, should travel companies ensure that local people benefit from the trips they sell? And that's rising to 11% over those 9 years. And I suspect, again, that will keep going up. I think making sure that that tourist dollar goes back into the pockets of people who are being impacted, directly impacted by travellers being around their home or tourists being around their home, is really important to people, and is something that we'll continue to see an importance sort of put upon. And you know, it's really important to remember that there are resorts, regions, and even whole countries that are very dependent on travel and really benefit from people going and visiting them, so long as we can do it in an eco-conscious way. And indeed, we know that some wildlife has suffered terribly from not having tourist eyes on it. The poachers have been back in various sort of wildlife parks and things because the guides and tourist eyes haven't been on it. And so that's another way in which we know that tourism, when it's done well, is genuinely positive to the environment. So these were my trends, really, in terms of holiday trends: slow travel, the great outdoors, social travel, bucket listing, that kind of working from home hybrid holidays, travel tech, and eco-conscious travel. At Ultimate Travel Club, we've chosen to work with an organisation called Ecology, who are kind of innovative carbon offsetters, and we're planting a tree for every new member, and then every month of that membership, we're investing in community projects in the UK and abroad. And also our members can choose to offset the carbon impact of their travel using their travel credit if they choose. So we're definitely aware that it's a really important thing, and that eco travel trend is something that we want to make sure or eco conscious trend is something that we want to make sure we're doing the right thing by. It's worth looking now at some booking trends, how that's going to impact or is already impacting what we're seeing in terms of booking. And one of them is polarizing lead times. So people are either booking things for a long way in advance because they, particularly those seize the day bucket listing ones, they want to get it in their diary, they want something to look forward to. Also, I guess if you're planning on traveling with lots of family, getting it organized in advance is really important. I've just had a holiday on a beach in Scotland, and at one point we ordered fish and chips on the beach for 31. Now that's a holiday that we've been planning for nearly 2 years. So yeah, you definitely need to get your lead time sorted for a holiday like that. But also people booking relatively last minute, and I think that's partly around the security of knowing what's happening with restrictions and things. People will wait and then book at the last minute when they know exactly what they can do. There is a definite, when we survey people, there's a definite trend towards fewer longer holidays, and that's something I've seen in other people's data as well. That people are thinking more carefully about where they want to go. They may be adding a couple of weeks of work into it as well, and really consciously choosing to do fewer, maybe that slow travel piece as well, longer holidays. And I think in terms of the environment, that's something that matters very much too. Obviously, if people fly once and do a kind of multi-centre holiday rather than flying to and from 3 or 4 times, that will make a massive difference to their carbon footprint. We're seeing more package holidays. I don't think that's surprising. That's really around atoll protection. People know they have more protection if they book a package holiday, and we're definitely seeing more of that, and I think that will continue. And kind of newcomers to the holiday booking game, such as Ultimate Travel Club, are going need to make sure that they have that same protection that more traditional travel agents, etc., would be able to provide with package holidays. And again, in the same vein, that protection and transparent cancellation policies, I think really we all know that customers, consumers everywhere now expect more transparency from all companies. They want more transparency from all companies they deal with, and it's certainly something that in a holiday that's an industry that's been so impacted is particularly important, that people can see exactly what's going on with those policies. And then changing channels, this is where we come in at Ultimate Travel Club. Our channel is a new sort of way of booking travel. So instead of booking with a commission or with a travel agent or an OTA or something and paying the price that goes to the hotel plus a commission, we don't charge any commission at all. We charge no markups. Customers, our members, pay a small membership fee each month to be a member of Ultimate Travel Club, and then in return they get completely commission free and markup free travel. It's back to that kind of transparency thing, everyone knowing what they're going to get. And I think as people become, unfortunately we have lost lots of travel agents, particularly on the high street over the last few years and very much in the last 18 months. And I think people are just looking for different ways to make sure that they maximise the value of their holidays and the money that they put into that. So I think there will be an increase in things like our subscription model and other models that really allow a customer to see, or a member to see, exactly where their money is going, alongside the bit that's going towards the travel. And I think that's me. Let me just try and stop share there. That's really what I wanted to say today. Teresa, have you got any questions?
No, I think that's brilliant. I love the idea of being able to take longer holidays and work from abroad. I've got family abroad, so I'm sure a lot of people are in the same boat. And if it means we can work, you know, especially if you know the kind of Wi-Fi situation, like you say, if you get a sneak peek. And yeah, I love that idea.
Yeah, I think
we're going to be looking to do.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that our research, as I say, it's not been published yet, but that data is really, just a quick glance is showing me that they're really looking for, people are really considering it. And actually, funnily enough, particularly people with children, I guess it's about making the most of the school holidays. You know, you have kids off during the school holidays anyway. If you can use that holiday so that they can be benefiting from being somewhere else whilst you're still getting some work done in some times, then that could work really well for people.
Absolutely. Oh, well, thank you, Joe. I think we'll wrap it up there for today, but I just wanted to say that we do have some other recordings on our channel. If you go to our exhibitor page on the Visual Media Conference, you can see presentations from Lee Warren. He's talking about presentation skills. We've got a panel session talking about purpose and the importance of purpose. And the last one we have on there is a cookie policy panel. So they were talking about the policy changes and data regulations that are coming up. So there's a few good other sessions you can check out on that channel. So thank you very much, Jae. And
thank you.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.